buy an item, Facebook Marketplace can be a great way to get a good deal on something. But it is the Wild West. And so in this video, I want to go over how to navigate it and stay safe so that you can save money. So with that, let's get started with tip number 1. With the proper research, I have helped reduce my risk for buying things on Marketplace. And so I'm going to show you how I go about doing this. First, I look at the seller's profile, and I recommend that everyone does this. Ideally, I like to see someone who is active on the platform, who has had an account for a while, and they have some activity and some pictures on there as well. The next element that I pay attention to is communication. Typically, great sellers will have fast, open, and honest communication. And in my experience, the worst sellers to deal with are people who have really short, vague, and almost sometimes kind of rude answers. I typically will not buy from those people. This part is a little bit difficult to explain because it's very nuanced and it can depend on a lot of factors. But I'm just going to call this conceptual hints and clues. So for example, if I wanted to buy a set of paintbrushes, and if I go on the seller's profile and they have a bunch of pictures of artwork and paint, that tells me that this is someone who is really into their craft. And this is a good indicator that this person has taken really good care of their items. And it makes me feel more willing to buy from them. Let's get this part out of the way fairly early, because if you only see part of this video, I'd rather have you see this for your safety and to avoid getting scammed. Here are some red flags that I avoid. Suspiciously low prices. As they say, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Requiring payment in advance. If someone wants you to pay them or put a deposit down, it's just not worth it. I would not recommend doing this. If the person has stock photos instead of pictures of the actual item, that is typically a waste of time, because then I can't even get a general gauge of what the item looks like or the condition. If the seller has either no profile picture or they don't have a profile picture of them, I know some people are uneasy about showing their face online, and I do understand that, but this is something to definitely proceed with caution with. If the seller has very great communication and they're great to deal with, sometimes I will make an exception for this, but I would say general rule, it's always good to find someone who has a legitimate profile, ideally with a picture of themselves. If someone uses AI, this may not be dangerous, but it's something that I will typically avoid just because I find it kind of annoying. For example, they'll use AI to have a goofy picture of their item to try to grab your attention, or they will use AI for their description, and you can kind of tell because they haven't taken the time to write things out. Whenever I see listings that have goofy pricing, such as $1 or $1 million, and they'll say, "Make me an offer" in the description, I just avoid these, because what they want you to do is try to outbid other interested buyers. Please don't even waste your time with these listings. If a seller has poor communication, this is definitely a red flag, and it will make arranging the deal difficult anyway. You really want to avoid a situation where you have confirmed that you're going to meet someone to go buy something, and you drive all the way there and then they don't even respond. If someone is not responding to you at a fairly reasonable rate, then I would just not waste the time with them. A lot of these green flags are just going to be the opposite of the red flags that I listed earlier, but there are 2 bonus green flags that I will mention here. If you see an item that says newly listed, if this is a good deal, this can be a great way to quickly go in and buy this item before many other people have seen it. So this is something that I definitely look for. The other item that I look for is reduced price listings, because this is a good indication that the person just wants to get rid of their item and that they can be willing to negotiate. The best question to ask is the one that will make you most comfortable with buying whatever you're looking for. I like to know more about how the seller got the item originally. Were they the original purchaser? Do they have proof of purchase or receipts that they can share? How long have they had it? Questions like that. The other question I like to ask is why they're selling. A lot of times they may have this listed in the description already, but if they don't, I will ask, and the way the seller answers that question will go a long way towards building your trust in them. This is of course the most important part of the video because I want you guys to stay safe out there. Only meet during daytime hours. Fairly self-explanatory there. Bring someone with you whenever possible. Never give out your phone number or other personal information. Always tell your friends or family what you are doing and where you will be, as well as what time you expect to be gone or back. If you are comfortable sharing your location with your friends or family, you can also do that. These safety tips are important, but I have a few other tips that are a little more specific towards these types of deals. So let's also discuss those. Many local police stations actually have designated spots just for doing these types of transactions. That can be a really good option to look into. I like to avoid sharing as much info as I possibly can. Let me give you an example. If I am meeting someone and they are having a hard time finding me, instead of giving them a description of what my car looks like, I will just offer to meet them somewhere in that area, such as by a particular store entrance. Another thing that scammers will do is they will create a sense of urgency, and they may say, I can meet right now, or I want to meet right now, I'm in the area. Any seller who is trustworthy, most of the time, they will be willing to arrange a time and make sure that everything is organized. If you feel like something is off, trust that feeling. This goes for any time during the transaction. If you feel before you even meet them that something is a little off, don't be afraid to cancel the deal and walk away. The same thing goes for when you are in person. Your gut is a very powerful instinct, and if you trust it, this can be very important. As always, my goal is to provide value for you, and so I hope that this video has given you some insight into Facebook Marketplace or whatever other deal platform you want to use, and how to navigate it and get a good deal on something. If you want to watch more of these types of videos in the future, then please do consider subscribing and liking the video. I will see you next time for more personal finance and money saving tips and tricks. Thank you.